Hello, I'm Dr. Ken Berry, a family physician with 20 years of clinical experience, and I want to take just a few minutes to discuss with you the keto flu and explain the keto flu to you, what's actually going on, and talk about some strategies that you can use that you can apply immediately to your life to get through the keto flu and kind of get past that hurdle and get into the good health and the reversal of chronic disease that you're probably looking for. The keto diet is becoming very, very popular and with very good reason. A diet that is sustainable, that's easy, that is filled with delicious food, that will also reverse type 2 diabetes, that will reverse metabolic syndrome, that will improve skin conditions, mental conditions, that deserves to get popular. And you deserve the benefits from such a diet yourself. But there's this thing, this scary monster that people talk about called the keto flu. And I wanted to break this down for you so you could kind of understand it maybe a little better than you did before and understand that there's no danger from this whatsoever. This is not a dangerous thing. It's not a contagious thing. It's something that once you understand what's actually happening to your body's physiology, makes perfect sense. And you'll understand that this is a hurdle you will have to clear in order to get to the good health that you're looking for. Now, if you know someone who's thinking about starting the keto diet, please consider sharing this video with them on your social media. You can share this video in your Facebook groups or on your profile. You have my permission to share this with anyone who you think it might help. Now, let's jump right into this. There's basically three things going on with the keto flu. There's three processes happening in your body, and they're all happening at the same time. And that's what really makes keto flu rough for some people. Now, if you're already eating a fairly clean diet, if you're eating paleo or ancestral, bulletproof, something like that, then you won't have much keto flu transitioning to a keto or a carnivore diet. But if you're eating a bunch of highly processed, high carbohydrate crap, then you're probably going to have some keto flu. And let's talk about why. I'm going to tell you the three things that are going on with you during keto flu in this video. And then also at the end, I'm going to tell you some really helpful strategies that'll help you weather this short-lived storm so that you can get healthy and lose the fat that you're looking to lose. So first and foremost, you have to come to understand that processed carbohydrates are addictive. And there are actually PET scans that show that the same pleasure centers of your brain that light up when you smoke a cigarette or when you take a drink of alcohol or when you use even more hard addictive drugs. The same pleasure centers light up when you eat a jelly donut or a honey bun or even two pieces of whole wheat bread. These things are habit forming to the human brain. They activate endorphin receptors. They activate the pleasure centers in your brain. And so, therefore, when you come to realize that, and some people will get very triggered by me saying that there's no way that food that's sold in a grocery store is habit forming or addictive. But I'm sorry to say it absolutely is. And the biggest part of the keto flu is the withdrawal symptoms that you will experience from getting sugar and grains and industrial seed oils out of your diet. It's almost as if big food knows that these things are habit forming, and that's why they use sugar and grains and industrial seed oils to make every single product they make in the center of the grocery store. Um, Kind of odd, isn't it? So let's talk about addiction. So if someone is a 2 pack a day cigarette smoker, or they drink 2 6 packs of beer every single day, they're addicted. They have an addiction, right? And when they say, okay, I know that smoking tobacco is bad for me, I'm going to stop that. Or I know that drinking a case of beer a day, that's bad, I've got to stop that. When they do stop, they're going to have a known set of withdrawal symptoms. They are going to have flu-like symptoms during the withdrawal. And for smokers, it's actually called the quitter's flu. There's an exact same syndrome with quitting alcohol or even quitting other habit forming drugs. You're going to have a flu like syndrome for 3 to 10 days. This is well known in the addiction communities. You're going to have body aches, you're going to have chills, you're going to have itching, and you may have heard of the keto rash. This is part of the withdrawal symptoms of breaking your addiction to carbohydrates. You might have a headache, you might have fatigue, you might have irritability, nausea, insomnia, constipation, dizziness, leg cramps, decreased alertness, decreased performance at work or in the gym. And some people even have quite severe depression and anxiety symptoms as they're going through the withdrawal process for tobacco, alcohol, other drugs, and carbohydrates. Now, if someone was trying to quit smoking and they were having all these symptoms, would you feel like you were being a good friend if you said, this sounds dangerous. You should probably just smoke a cigarette? No, that wouldn't be a good friend at all. The smoker and the alcoholic need to break their addiction, and the carbaholic also needs to break their addiction. And there's no way to get around this. If you are addicted to carbohydrates, you have to go through this withdrawal process that lasts for 3 to 10 days. I'm going to talk about some strategies at the end that'll help you cope with this, but you have to go through this trial in order to get the benefits of good health on the other side. So that's the first thing, and most by far, the thing that most people suffer from the most when they're transitioning to a keto or a carnivore diet is the withdrawal symptoms of breaking the addiction to the processed carbohydrates. And for some people, it's just processed sugar and grains. Some people even have the withdrawal symptoms when they stop other carbohydrate sources as well. Now, the second thing that's going on is when you greatly lower the amount of carbohydrates that you eat on a daily basis, then your blood sugar levels are obviously going to come back down to low normal. And this is going to allow your insulin levels to come back down to low normal as well. When your insulin is chronically high because you're eating too many carbohydrates, then you're going to hold a lot of excess fluid in your body, in your tissues. Some people have this as edema around their ankles and feet, edema in their fingers. Some people hold most of the edema in their abdomen around their waistline. As you eat fewer carbohydrates, your insulin level is going to come down, and this is going to cause a diuresis or a urinating out of all this excess fluid that you've been holding. And a lot of people experience this the first week or two they go keto or carnivore. They'll lose 3 to 10 pounds. That's not fat. That's the fluid that they were holding unnecessarily. So by converting to keto or carnivore, they get rid of all that excess fluid. It looks good on the scale in the bathroom, but that's not really the big deal. The big deal is that you're decreasing the amount of edema you're holding. Now, the way the human kidney works is when you excrete this extra fluid, a certain amount of magnesium and potassium has to go with it. And so you'll wind up with electrolyte deficiencies. And the fact of the matter is that most Americans already have magnesium and potassium deficiencies to start with. And so when they go keto, it actually makes the symptoms of this more pronounced. So the muscle twitches and spasms and cramps. And so you'll want to make sure that you replace these electrolytes. And I'll talk about that down in the strategies. Another thing that's happening when you are going keto or carnivore is that your levels of chronic unhealthy inflammation in your body is getting better. Now, inflammation, one of the 4 cardinal signs of inflammation is edema or swelling. And so as the inflammation improves, you're going to again have excess fluid that you no longer need to carry around every day, and you're going to urinate that away. With that also goes salt, sodium and chloride. And there are a lot of health authorities out there that will tell you that sodium chloride is bad for you. You should minimize it. Actually, when you look at the research and when you look at the anthropology of that question, that becomes a silly superstition that salt is bad for you. Salt is good for you. We are mammals. All mammals need salt. And so when you convert from the standard American diet or the standard Western diet over to keto or carnivore, you get to enjoy more salt. You can salt all your food to taste. Salt it to the amount of saltiness that tastes good to you. In fact, you need to do that, or you'll wind up with lower levels of sodium and potassium, sodium and chloride, which can lead to some symptoms. And so these are the 3 things that are going on with the keto flu. You're withdrawing from a habit-forming substance, which is processed carbohydrates. You are having lower electrolyte levels because of the decrease in the insulin and the decrease in the inflammation, and you're also having lower levels of salt in your body than your body's used to having. Now, let's talk about strategies to make the keto flu less bad. Because whether you're stopping carbohydrates or tobacco or alcohol or crack, you're going to have some withdrawals, and that is part of it. There's just no way around that, but you have to break the habit to that unhealthy substance in order to improve your health, lose fat, decrease inflammation, etc. So let's talk about some strategies. First of all, the withdrawal part. There's just no way around this. You're going to have to withdraw from the processed carbohydrates. If you do this, first of all, tell your family and friends, hey, I'm going to convert to the keto diet. I may have a few days of withdrawals. Just know I'm not mad at you. I'm not depressed, truly. I'm just going through withdrawal symptoms until I break the habit I have to these unhealthy carbohydrates. So they'll understand and they won't be worried about you. It's really great and helpful to go keto with a friend or with your family. Do it all as a family. That way you guys all know what's going on with the other family member. Another great strategy is to join a keto Facebook group. These people have already been through the keto flu and they can help you to understand what's going on. Another good strategy is to talk to your doctor, get some baseline labs so that if you get to feeling really bad, you can go back and have your labs rechecked and make sure that your electrolytes, your sodium, your chloride, and everything are still within normal limits. Your doctor may caution you against the keto flu because many doctors are like I used to be back 10 years ago. They might think that this is a dangerous thing and you shouldn't do it. It would be like a doctor saying, this alcohol withdrawal thing, it seems to really be hurting you. Maybe you should have a beer. That's not good advice. And so don't take the advice if that's the advice from your doctor, but do get some lab work checked so that you know what's going on. Now, the second thing is the electrolyte issues. Make sure that you are eating foods that are rich in magnesium and potassium. And I actually have videos about this on this YouTube channel, and I also have videos about this on my Facebook page that you can check out at your leisure. There's also a great electrolyte drop that you can use. It's a drop that you just put into your liquid that you drink on a daily basis, and it can help tremendously with the electrolyte portion of the keto flu, which in my opinion is a very small portion, but it is nonetheless. The muscle twitches and spasms and cramps can be quite concerning, but electrolyte drops will make that go away if you're not able to eat enough magnesium and potassium rich foods as you transition. And then thirdly is you get to eat more salt. Congratulations. You don't have to limit salt. What I do want you to do is focus on eating a real salt. Don't just use table salt, umbrella girl salt. It only has sodium and chloride, and it also has added things to keep it from caking or clumping. Those added things can actually be sugar. Yeah, your salt may very well have sugar in it. Also, most of the salt today that's available has microplastics and nanoplastics, which can mess with your hormones. So don't just use any salt. Make sure and use a real salt. And I'm going to put a link down below to the electrolyte drops and the real salt that I love right down there, and you can click on those and check them out. So these are some strategies that you can use. And there are many more strategies that will help you cope with the withdrawal symptoms. You can actually go to a web page about cigarette withdrawal and stopping smoking and just look at the strategies they talk about. Go for a walk. And don't try to fight this and don't try to pretend it's not a carbohydrate addiction because it kind of is. When you own that and understand it and then start using strategies, it'll help you get through the keto flu within 3 to 10 days, and then you'll be able to enjoy all the health, both physical and mental benefits of a ketogenic way of eating. If you enjoyed this video and you like it when a medical doctor uses the current meaningful research and the anthropology of the human being and combines that with common sense to make videos like this, then please consider clicking that little subscribe button right down there and the little bell notification button right beside it so that every time I get a bright idea, you'll be one of the very first people to know. This is Dr. Berry. I'll see you next time.